Welcome to this training video on Cbord Web. This one will focus on using ad hoc reports. And we'll focus on selecting a report, checking the activity at the door, and then seeing who has access to the building. Different ad hoc reports will be displayed based on your access. This document will show a specific group inside of Cbord, but your access and displays will be dependent on your login. To move through this video, it's just like using any kind of VCR or any kind of video. You can use the arrow to move forward and backwards and replay any kind of components of the video. First step of using Cbord Web is to log in. There's a couple different ways of logging in, but the one that we'll use here is actually using the direct link that's been created. So for this particular training video, we're using the web address, which is https://cbordweb.millersville.edu/login/idap.php. Now this is a long address and you don't have to remember it. If you enter it one time, you can actually just bookmark it and then reuse it over again and over again. This same link is actually added to all of the documentation that's inside of the wiki for Cbord Web. So to log into Cbord Web, you'll be using the same username and password that you would use when you're accessing Outlook via the web browser. So it's the same username and the same password. When you do change your password for Outlook, the password for Cbord Web will also change. So step one of this process, after you've logged in, is to use the side menu where it says Admin Web. When you click on the Admin Web link, it will actually take you to the next display in this process. Step two of this process is to, using that same side menu, click on the Ad Hoc Reports link. The list of available reports will display based on your user group. So basically, if you are part of Cbord or part of one of the other buildings, then what you see for these ad hoc reports will be based on what your access level is. So in this case, you'll see one example, but for you, it would be based on what building you're accessing. Step three of this process is to select the first option, which is Access Reports. It's the first link on the side menu. So we're going to click on Access Reports, and this is in the Report Manager window. Step four is there is a small folder that is displaying below the Access Reports. If you click on that small folder called Transactions, it will open and give you additional options. So step five is down below, inside of that Transactions folder, you're going to click on the Access Log link. In the Report Manager, you will see that there is three tabs. One, which is called Subject, the next one, or Select, the next one is called Location, and the next one is called Share. In our case, we're going to click on the Select tab, and this will allow us to select specific date ranges that we're going to be using for searching for individuals or access. So in this access log, we're going to select a specific date range. So the first option that we have is a drop-down box under Select that allows us to select a range of dates. Now we can choose a specific set of presets or enter in our own. So in this case, we're going to click on the drop-down arrow, and it's going to give us additional options. For my option, I'm going to select from the pre-selected items yesterday, which will show me the report from yesterday. The next option is to determine when the ending point would be. So you have a starting date, and at this point it gives you option of through when would be the ending date for your report. For the case of this video, we're not going to select any of the other options. We're going to just choose to submit to see the report. The next box gives us the option to say that a report has been submitted and that it may take a few minutes to gather that. So it's going to say, well, would you like to wait? Or you can choose yes or no. And in case 3, we're going to choose yes, allow us to finish generating the report. Since we chose the option of downloading as a PDF with our choices, it when it finished creating the report, it actually went and downloaded it to my computer. Since I'm using Firefox at this point, I can click on my little download arrow and it will actually show me the item that is downloaded. In this case, it is the report manager file. When I open the PDF, it displays the results from the search region that I wanted. So basically, am I selecting a specific time period for accessing a room? And then it will give me the results as a PDF. The number is generic other than the fact that it indicates the year, the month, the date, and the time. That is all part of the title.
Our next option for looking up access to generate a report is by looking at the location for a specific area. So if we want to generate a report for a specific location. We've identified that we want to use this as a PDF. That is going to be the output method. And when we click on the location tab, it gives us all the locations that we have access to with our specific login. Just in case you don't want to use a PDF as your output method, there is actually a number of different methods that you can download or view the report. And I've actually indicated here that you can see this as an HTML. This will display in your web browser as an HTML file. I still generally prefer the PDF because it allows me a downloaded version that I can then share if I need to share. At this point, we're going to select the room that we will be generating a report about. So you click on the little checkbox in front of the room. Once you've selected the location, you'll scroll down to the bottom. There's actually buttons down at the bottom. You can actually choose the first option to apply what you've done, and at that point it'll start to generate the report. That is the first button on the left-hand side. It's the Report Manager window. Just like when we had generated our previous report, we have to choose to either wait for it or not wait for the report to be generated. We're going to choose yes here to wait for the report. It usually doesn't take that long to generate unless there's a lot of information about it, but usually doesn't take much more than a minute. Once the report is finished, you'll get a message saying that you can download the report. It generally is going to be downloaded whether it's HTML or PDF. It still needs to be downloaded or generated. When that comes down, if it's an HTML version, it will open up in your browser, display in your browser.